Michael, what did you make of that performance today?
Played really well first half, good energy in the team I thought. Dropped off second half. It's clear that maybe Ryan, Jack and Nico, it took a lot out of them. Not had much football of late. And I thought when John Lundstrom come on we got it back again because we started the second half quite poorly I thought. Made a lot of silly errors, but I'll focus on the first half, which I thought was really, really pleasing. We were well worthy of being 3-0 up, I think, because we'd missed a couple of other big chances and some of our decision making, maybe where we shoot and we could cross it. I felt for Tony a little bit first half because I thought he was our best player. I thought he came off and linked the play really well. You can see that we've been doing some fitness work with him in the background, and he's the main thing I'll take away from today's game. That's exactly what I want from Antonio.
Is that exactly what you want from the team as a whole, just that opening 45?
Yeah, listen, it's more like it. We've shown it in flashes. Again, today we've only shown it in flashes, but I thought the first half was as dominant as you can be in a game, and they came here, Kilmarnock, and were going to try and frustrate us, and we thought it might be a sticky game, and we tried something clever off a set play and it got us the first goal, so I'm delighted with that. It's important that we're strong on set plays, and that was a nice way to get in front, because then it changes the way Kilmarnock are going to approach the rest of the match. And yeah, listen, I'm pleased with the boys. They've had a tough week. We all have as a club, and it's nice to get the 3 points and move forward. It's just one game. We've got another big game coming up now on Wednesday.
Michael, how's Malik Tillman not in the matchday squad today?
Malik tried to train in the middle of the week and he just felt stiff in a number of areas, so we've just decided not to take the risk. We've obviously we felt we had enough for this game without him, and obviously we have a quarter-final coming up which we're earmarking for his return.
Michael, today Todd Cantwell was, I thought, Rangers' best attacking player. He drifted into spaces that maybe you don't have other players who go into when you're playing sides who set up the way that Kilmarnock do today. How important can he be as a sort of, if you like, lock picker moving forward?
Yeah, that's his type of how he likes to play. Obviously he went in and played in the position that Malik's been playing to start the game, where he can drop down and he can get up and get close to the goal. Similar to Yanis Hadji, he needs runners, he needs speed, because when he gets his eyes up he needs to see movement. You can see that he's a lovely football player, real lots of energy. He regained the ball a lot for us today. I thought he put in a really good performance. I thought all three of the midfielders did, and Tony. I thought those four coming into the team brought a freshness and an energy today. I thought Ryan Kemp was good. I thought Sakala had moments. He had moments, really high moments. He had moments where he'd like to do better, but all the time with fashion, it comes from a good place. And I thought first half, our speed out the back from the centre-backs was good. Everything about the first half performance was positive. And
John Souttar getting back on the park today, was that just to give him his competitive home debut today?
Yeah, that's where my frustration is in the game. I haven't looked at it back, but my staff tell me it's probably a foul, their goal. And that's where my frustration is, because I'd like to have given John a little bit more today. Obviously with our second team playing the Lowland League, you can only play under 21 players in that, so it's not like I can drop him down to get minutes, so I've got to try and get him up to speed in training. He's trained ever so well for a couple of weeks now. The final I felt was too soon. I wasn't going to use him in that. But today was an opportunity to maybe give him a little bit more, but the game didn't allow me to. But John's been training ever so well. I'm not the only one impressed with him. His teammates like him and the staff as well. So it's important for him that he can stay fit now. And he was going great guns and then just had a bit of a reaction, a bit of swelling. So we had to slow down. But the last 2 weeks, he's trained hell for leather. And he trains how he plays, John. And that's the one thing I would say. Well, I don't think it would take him too long to get up to speed, because he trains properly every day.
Michael, Morelos' future up there, how important was it that Cholak showed you what he did today, given that he's definitely going to be here next season?
Well, I've only had the option of Alfredo really as a number 9 since I've come back in, fully fit. So it wasn't a choice of picking between them really. Today I've decided to go with Tony, because I felt his personality and training, his energy was worth a start. And I wanted more energy in that position today. And obviously he didn't play last week, so he's not carried the same amount of weight as maybe the boys that have played. And I thought you'd see that in his performance. We've got 2 more games this week. There's no other reason for leaving Alfredo out than I want to give Tony a go. And I thought Tony played fantastic. If that's the boy that was fully fit at the start of the season and doing well, then I haven't seen that until today. So I'm delighted for him on a personal level.
Michael, what did... Sorry. I was just going to say, Louis said the other day Alfredo and Ryan Kent hadn't been offered new deals, have any of them intimated to you what they want to do thus far?
Listen, I think they're both going to have options in the summer. I just want to see where this squad is and where it's going. I think I've come back in and tried to give the team stability with some of the old things that we did when I was here previous. We had a lot of injuries when I come in. We've stabled it. We've lost one game in, 16, one game in 18 for the team because they're not. So I've gone with stability, but you're going to see change. You're going to see change in the way the team plays and the formation and everything. We just got to get to that moment. In terms of Ryan and Alfredo, Ryan Jack, Scott Arfield, Alan, all of those guys, I've wanted to focus on the football. So whatever chats went on before I came in, of course I've had some personal chats with the boys, but we haven't put anything in front of anyone because we want to see how things move in the coming weeks. And it doesn't have to make sense to anybody other than ourselves. You know, of course, I've spoke to those boys. The most important thing is I want them to focus on football and they're focused on it. I've been delighted with both Alfredo and Ryan. But every player, really, no one's given me a problem since I've come back in, regardless of their status and where they're at contract-wise.
Michael, I was going to ask you about the first half. Ryan Jack and Nicholas Raskin, how did you enjoy watching them together? And did you feel that it was just basically game time for Nico, that's why maybe a wee bit rusty second had to come off?
Yeah, listen, look, I've got to make decisions for the betterment of the players and the team. It's clear Nico's a really good player. I wouldn't have met him the amount of times I did and spent all that time trying to get him to come to Glasgow if I didn't rate him as a player. But I think you could see today that the intensity of the first half played on him, and that's where he's at. He's not played a lot of football. He's come into a new country. He's 21, new city. He's learning a lot, the intensity of training and the intensity of the games. He's got to get up to it. And I thought he was really, really good first half. I thought he was excellent. And we're trying something. Obviously, today we felt they might go into Christian Doig a bit. So we preferred to have Jacko in the middle and him playing slightly to the left of him. And I thought he played ever so well. And he just ran out of legs in the second half. And I'd rather him do that, play to his maximum and run out of legs a little bit, because he'll pick up on that as the games go by. But I think he's had a really good introduction to our club. It's lovely that the fans like him and his teammates like him as well. I think we've got a really good player moving forward, and I thought Ryan Jack was good today. And just got to be careful around them yellow cards, Ryan, because he always makes my heart skip a little bit when he gets one.
Michael, you mentioned playing flashes, this kind of Jekyll and Hyde nature, that's kind of characterised Rangers over the last 18 months or so. As a manager, how do you fix that and find that kind of consistency, that relentless performance in Tynecastle, for example, possibly the only 90 minutes, full 90 minutes we've seen?
Well, we'll keep talking about it, and we keep talking about staying on it. They are out on the pitch, they play, and when the second half starts, you say all the right things at half time. We've had some really good responses. That's the worst one we've had from half time. When they're out on the pitch and they're playing, they got to talk to each other. You're in a packed out stadium. They can't always hear me from the side, but it wasn't just one player in the start of the second half. We were giving the ball away unopposed. Nico was, Tav was, Todd was, Ryan was, Connor, Ben. So it's something we'll talk about in the week. But I think after the last few days we've had, the first half, I'll take that. We'll move forward. You can only beat the team that's in front of you. We've won again today. We roll into Hibs on Wednesday. They're in good form at the moment, and it'll be a tough game. And I think Hibs will come for us, and we'll look forward to that, because that will give us more spaces to go and play in. Kilmarnock come here today to frustrate us, and I thought the game would be more sticky than what it was. So I was delighted at half time. So that will be my thoughts coming away from here this evening.
Just, will Malik make Hibs away, Michael? Do you think it's going to be next weekend?
It's an option, mate. It's an option, but obviously priorities, and the team play well today, so who are you taking out?
Can I quickly ask on Alex Lowry? I don't know if I've missed an update on him. You said he was going to have a scan.
Alex Lowry, the day before the Partick Thistle game, when he was in the thinking to start, no one near him. The ball came and he turned and he had a problem with his ankle, and it was a 6-week injury, which he's 2 weeks into. So he's out of the boot at the moment, but Alex is he's probably 4 weeks from being ready to play.
Michael, James Sands has obviously went back to New York this week. Can we sort of find out what the decision making behind that process was? Was that something that was maybe from the club, or was that something that James laid on himself?
No, James come to speak to me about 4 weeks ago. And obviously he's a midfielder that's had to play centre-back for us, and when he's had to play there, he's done really well. Obviously the MLS season was about to start. I think he had some assurances that end that he would be a big player for them, and I suppose the question that he was throwing out was, are we going to take up the option? Unfortunately, we wasn't going to do that. Nothing against James and the way that he played, but we didn't feel that we was going to take up the option, and we had an agreement because of us only having 2 fit senior centre halves at the time that we'd get the final out of the way and then he could go back. So that's why he wasn't involved in the cup final. So I didn't think it was fair to involve James when he was going back over a player that's going to be here. And that's it. They're the decisions that I've got to make. I really enjoyed working with him as a boy. I thought he gave his heart and soul every day. He was a good teammate, and certainly earlier in the season when we were qualifying for the Champions League and he was playing those games against PSV, he did a really good job for the club in the time that was here, so we wish him well.
Is John Suter coming back as well maybe part of that decision-making process that you've got a little bit more covering that position as well?
Yeah, of course it does. And look, John Lundstrom's played there, young Leon King played there early in the season. So I feel now we're in a better place and the games are running down. And it's hard. Look, a boy's living a long way away from home. He knows it's not going to be his future here. He looks around and thinks, well, look, you've just signed 2 midfielders. I'm probably not going to get a go in midfield because I'm a lone player as well. So I had to look at him, face to face, man to man, and he asked me the question, and I said, "Yep, you can, but at the time that suits everybody rather than yourself." And I thought he was, after that, in the 3 or 4 weeks after it, he was a real credit to himself. I thought he stuck to that plan, and so did we. So, as I say, we wish him well.